Hey guys, I'm Helena from Glass Factory, and I'm here with Ravenna Golden to talk about her upcoming single, Expensive City. Hi,
Hi, everybody.
how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm just slow start. My brain's not all the way on yet. I haven't
Mm,
had my coffee yet, but I'm here.
right. Yeah, I just had my coffee, so it's still kicking in. I feel it. Slow Friday.
hmm
What's the weather like in LA right now?
It was freaking hot yesterday. Like it was
Mm,
really, it's like almost 90 degrees, and I was really like a couple days ago. It was like super like fall vibes, and I was like getting really into it, and I was like, oh my god, like it's fall. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. This is amazing. But according to my computer, it's currently 77 degrees. It's 10 a.m. It's already almost 80 degrees, and it's gonna be a high of 90 today. So
Yikes. Yeah, I heard that there's a heat wave coming along the south and then going all the way through the Midwest, and like most of the West Coast is going to be missing it, but not LA.
perfect.
So just makes sense, right?
Need that unnecessary fall heat. But whatever, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's never really that bad in LA weather-wise, like
Yeah,
ever.
you get to experience summer just a little bit longer than everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Well, when did you decide to pick up music?
It was probably like 2015. I was kind of in art school, and then I like kind of met some friends who made music, and they were like, "Hey, you're good at this." And that kind of opened the door for me to switch from visual art to more in the music lane, and I've been doing that ever since.
That's cool. Do you think that the visual art side of things impacts your songwriting and just your visual experience in your music?
I think it impacts like the art direction a lot.
Mhm.
Like I always have a pretty like heavy hand in how I want any of my like single covers to look or the videos. Um and I've, for a lot of stuff when I didn't like have a budget or anything, I would make it all come together, and that was definitely using that visual brain.
Mhm. That's cool. Do you still create your own album covers or have a big influence in all that?
Yeah, yeah. I'm for my next EP cover that I'm working on right now. I'm not like directly designing it, but I definitely am like keeping a close like kind of eye on the artistic direction and the way it's going.
That's cool.
Yeah, I try and make sure that my vision is a part of whatever is going to be associated with the music.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who or what would you say is your biggest muse in your craft, at least lately?
I've always had a hard time kind of like citing my sources when it comes to inspiration. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm not the kind of person that will like watch a music video to get inspired. It's like I feel like I very much like take everything in and like don't focus on what's influencing me, and then I go back later. But I don't know. I feel like there's more of like a kind of like a time that I'm like musing from than like a person in particular, but just that era of like the mid to late 2000s and like the pop rock alternative kind of like, and like just this whole like the Blink 182 inflection, and like this kind of like whiny like I don't know what's going on type of vibe. That's my latest muse, is that time in
Yeah.
music.
It's a good era. It's a good era of music. Personally, I'm a really big fan of that kind of stuff. So you're talking to the right person about that.
Right there.
Yeah, for sure. So who would you say influenced your upcoming music, especially this single?
um the single, I'd say the closest thing like influence wise is probably um like like Blink 182. Like it's different because a lot of the music that I'm like inspired by from that stuff is like a male singer songwriter. So I feel like
Mm,
people don't as often like connect it, like I'm sure plenty of people do, but I don't know. I've also noticed like somebody that I feel like I will kind of mimic like in like tone or inflection or delivery at times is like like Lil Wayne's like raspy yells that he does. Sometimes I'm like, that's what I sound like.
That's cool.
It's
That's
like
really cool.
to see what I mean. It took me a while to see it, you know.
Yeah, I'll have to pay attention the next time I listen to your music, and then I'll definitely shout it out if I hear it.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay, I will. So how's the pandemic affected your creative process?
Oh, it sucks, man. It's the worst. I feel like I don't make as much as I used to, but it's
Mhm.
definitely reinvented how I make music. And while I've been like home and like, you know, I can't go do sessions as much, it's been a lot of cover songs, like downloading an instrumental or like downloading MIDI and then kind of like personalizing songs that I already know and like just to stay busy, not really like just for fun, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so how did that impact your creative process, at least in this EP?
Well, most of the songs on the EP were done pre-COVID, so it
Mhm.
wasn't a concern. Like a lot of these songs are from like 2019.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so it really didn't affect the EP almost at all. Like the EP's been
Mhm.
done for a long time and like it's just a matter of like picking the songs and which we've done for a while now. So um more of what I was focused on with the EP during the pandemic was figuring out the cover and figuring out videos and like
Mhm.
figuring out, you know, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that was another weird place to be during the pandemic is there wasn't any like urgency for new content. So I just
Mhm.
kind of like almost twiddling my thumbs at times because I didn't know how to push myself sometimes. Like it's like I know how, but it's like, you know, depression, pandemic sucked.
Yeah, for sure. Well, now that we're well, we're not really out of it, but now that we're at least in a different kind of normal than what last year was, would you say that any of that's changed and improved?
Yeah, definitely. I've also found more producers that I like working with in the last couple months, which is really nice.
Cool.
Because it's really important to me. Like if I'm going to make any sort of song, it's like I'm picky. You know what I mean? Like I need to really like the production. I really need to feel like it's my sound. Like it's not someone imitating my sound to make a beat for me, and it's not someone doing their own thing. It's like they're coming together with what makes sense for my music. So that it's been great finding stuff like that in the last couple weeks.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love hearing that, especially like hearing about people that support you rather than try to change you. So that's really cool
Yeah,
to hear.
I don't tolerate that. You know, like if someone
Yeah.
tries to change me, I'm out.
My next question is related to the single. So, what are some of the concepts that rose in the writing process of Expensive City?
Well, so during that time, that was 2019, and I think I was in a worse position financially than I am now. Like this is just like nothing is happening the way I want it to. So the opening line is I'm mean and I'm boring and I'm hard to entertain. You know what I mean? Like the whole song is just me being like it's just me like complaining, but it's very much also an upbeat song. So
Hmm.
that's something that I've noticed a lot of my songs will do is the beat will be like a really like, you know, kind of fast paced, happier sort of thing. But the lyrics are kind of dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you just contrast that dark lyrical tone with some other instrumental
Yeah.
tones. Yeah, that's cool. I've
Yeah.
noticed that that's like I don't know. I really like that kind of stuff in music lately that's just been coming up. So it's really cool to see that you're utilizing that and you're making that your own too.
Totally.
When people listen to your music, what messages do you have for your audience and how do you want to convey that to you to everybody in your upcoming EP?
I feel like when I like make a project or like music for someone, there's nothing that I like hope for them to feel or expect them to feel. And part of the fun for me is finding out what that is because
Mm,
I'm into it. Like when I make songs, it's usually from a pretty like raw place. Like I'm not like being super analytical about like I want this song to mean this, I want this song to mean this. It's just how I'm feeling in that moment. And what meaning people ascribe to that is like that is the meaning. You know, there's no like important takeaway from the project. It's just like how does it make you feel, you know?
that's cool. And that makes it much more relatable, especially if you like don't make it like force that meaning out.
Yeah, and sometimes I get insecure about that because I feel like a lot of artists, like right now, it is very popular in like especially like this hyper pop and like PC music sort of scene for people to have like an album that's super cohesive with all these themes and all the tracks mean different things. And that's just not where I'm at musically right now. Like these songs are songs that are important to me, but there's no like color coding for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would love to do something that really has that whole like kind of jigsaw puzzle aspect to it one of these days, but it's not this project.
That's okay. And then whenever you're ready to do anything different too, that's okay too. So I
Totally.
think it's cool that you're just being you. And yeah, even though it is trending to have these really complex concepts, geez, coming up in people's music, and then they think about every little detail. There are those also those messages that like, I don't know, I feel like that can like make a really cool artistic piece, but it doesn't necessarily make it relatable. And your work is a lot more relatable whenever you just choose to be real, and it's really cool to hear about that.
Yeah. It's like I see people who do that and they really nail it. You know what I mean? Like it's all very like it's all part of the same thing, and that's really it's a cool thing to do. But it's just not something that would even make sense for the kind of thing that I'm doing right now. Just because a lot of kind of older, it's like I would rather it like come together on its own than to be like reaching to put some meaning on it. You know?
That's really awesome. I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what are some things that you took from 2020, and how are you using what you learned to conquer the next chapter in your life?
So I feel like I learned in 2020 nothing is really over ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we learned like I think at the beginning of like I don't know, pandemic's not over. I feel like nothing ends. It just gets more complicated or it fades, you know?
Right.
And when it comes to mental health problems, when it comes to like relationship dynamics, when it comes to a pandemic, like it just everything is just evolving. There's not this clear like this is when it starts and this is when it ends, unless it's, you know, something that is like that, but most so I think 2020 for me was a year I had to struggle with a lot of personal and internal stuff during that time, and a lot of it's a blur, honestly, but I feel like I learned I don't no need to go backwards, you know.
It's honestly so relatable. It really is, because like so many people went through crap in 2020, and I don't know, your music is definitely gonna like inspire those people to just keep moving forward and just to be authentically themselves, which is so cool to me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about all I have for you today. Are there any other things you want to talk about?
No, just check out the Expensive City song and video when it drops.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing all your artistic ideas come into fruition.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, super great to meet you. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.